소시나 그래?
벌써 과 그치? 예.
Just the leg. Well, 64 years ago, the gunshots in Tibet symbolized the beginning of the exile of a nation. Families were separated. Tibetan Buddhism, which is a great treasure for entire human civilization, was disrespected. The mountain that used to belong to the snow lions was stained red with blood. And 6 million kind-hearted people are subjugated as slaves. And hundreds of them have sacrificed their lives on opposing the communist tyranny by self-burning. The tragedy, the incidents, and the persecution happening in Tibet shall never be forgotten by Tibetan people, and as well as any Mandarin-speaking people with conscience. Only the solidarity of all of us may bring the doom to this tyranny. Because it is the Communist Party, whether you're Chinese, Tibetans, Uyghurs, sexual minorities, Hong Kongers or Taiwanese, we are the same. We are uprisers. We are freedom fighters. We are believers. We are citizens. And we will become the worst nightmare of the Communist Party.
Yes.
We shall unite. The freedom will be brought to the land which has been enslaved for too long. I have myself full confidence that the day is counted, strongly affected by the fact that we have more friends, more allies, and more resources than ever before. But there's still concerns that bothers me. Even though I'm so glad to announce that after the White People's Revolution last year, there's more and more Mandarin-speaking social activists. They are young and they are dedicating themselves into our struggle, engaging themselves into our career. But the challenges, the shortage of the communication and the understanding and knowledge to Tibetan community and Tibetan culture may lead to consequences. So therefore, I urge everyone to join with me to establish a bridge of communication between young Chinese and Tibetans. And we're going to work on that in the coming season, in the coming years. And eventually, I sincerely hope that my community may share the same view as I do, which is, it is my greatest honor to be here with you, to support you, and to fight with you side by side, and to witness an honored and brave nation called Tibetans. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Kwa ni kola machine setting ko gi suye sons mi de. Kwa gemi log ju ji che ni to chenga de le che de Canada la. Ani mandu sani shuni yong de legi mabu chi sare. Gemi shimzab gi de la kwa ni legi ji chi du gap su gemi log tu. Not get to guess. Chi gemi shimzab gi de la gonda ting tu de gebo go la kembe shin de de. Kwa do ji na chi sina da ra. Peba mare gemi log tu. Kwa do ji mi de sim shi yong ji Toronto ni de le jo de. Ottawa ga tu. Ra. Sading ngazuk ni bus bola chik sera khashi si che chi ya mi ha mogi mangdu do de shi ni gonji ya wo chi lana samsum da kran da kran ro ni le re kwa du tu shi she yi gemi shung za bi din la mi ma chu ina re mi ma nga ina re manzu tak ba gemi shung za din le kembe chi de wo re won ji la yi to lo so tu shi na
on tu che ne tu zo 산에 쉬는 게 초초게 세세 제반한 시에 오늘에 그런 오늘 가서 베베 그 데디도 담아가도 그래 그 학원에 잡혀지고 어른들이 자 Ngoral Tuchi, thank you so much. And in this you go maso cause digital penega and college number.
Matari Kogar Disim Tikashi Shundo Chong, Toma, Nabaso Tamala, Samta Tashle Shuvata, Tari Kodinani, Topa Usa Tamala, Tujichas Shuai. Ani Tari Damazo, Logic Nani, Chapsi Gilendi, Soji, Sunny, Toronto Nepene, Montreal Nepene, Ottawa Nepene, Tamala Nintabane, Tujichas Shui. Tujiche shuya di kariresana ta manzo gi tabzu di chapsi gi tabzu yindu puringbo la gomba shene manzo samkham gi tabzu re ani thari ta manzo awa khashe ji phedo manzo chaina ta Canada la thangbo phenya cha re ta thari manzo nitong nishiza sum la Canada thangbo phenya ta lokor ngaju ngani chabre Tarina ne peche ngazo tangbo penya tangmi nga chutma to mi do changma ta jene phe changza re indi du ta ngazo chuchu ji pemi bare khaji ma to menai lotta pare chune ma chewe chine lapta ne mixe go ba shune ngazo bugu no chuchu ji ne lore ta pare shungre yoya di number chola muchu ne ta nang shi kha thu tu shi na lo che shuai Mazuki logic nane de paya di ji sangu gulam nane nezuji thorbe na yakure chige khao to ji yobe na yakure na to di mazu phemi cho samkham la phaja shaya ji thagan na shi mazu awa chola mirab sawa la phaja shaya ji mazu chapsi thapsu di muthu ne shukya kore se ya ji mazu pula phajaji shane thangling gedeji nali michi inai nangni nga phemi nga pheg nanggi phemi thakuza chine toptang goyos rawa goyos toptang goyos region songyop chigoyos ne pula phajashadi longishu sumchule ne thoso gyani yungu mare pugu senyen di lo thu de indu lore bet mixe laptani gomba shune de des yondre di bhaja khali rimba chine de des cha dugo re ta ngazo na shita thagara de des bhaja shabre phama kaji din du number chola ngara ta phemi des nisho ta yiba cha chane ta ngazo chige ne khoyu ji na ne phemi nyongno ji yosala chalong chudu khoyu cha cha chige yin pu la bhaja shaya ji 탈람 가리 연에다 니가도 데스 냥요연서 니꼬라지 춘도 총타리 아니 nga tanda ta ngazo gonglo chonga kashi jiyosa ngara inji ngane tsikashi jishugi.
So first I want to thank our Chinese friend for the wonderful speech of solidarity.
Yeah, Western, Kwame. Yeah. Western. Yeah.
Thank you. Even if you're very few in numbers, it means a great deal to us that you're standing with us on this very special anniversary for us. I also want to congratulate my fellow community member from Montreal for reading that speech in French. I know that many of you don't speak French. I speak French and I am very impressed, I will say. The quality of your French is really good. So I want to say a few words to the younger Tibetans here who may not understand what I just said in Tibetan. I was saying that, you know, I grew up here. I came at the age of 4. And while we may not be large in numbers, it is so important for you to be here. And every one of you matters, because our struggle is a political struggle, but it's psychological too. And we want to demonstrate that no matter how many years go by, we are going to continue our fight. And you know, in Canada, we hear a lot about the residential schools for Indigenous people. Well, in China, there are residential schools for Tibetans that have been set up over 20, 30 years ago. in over 20 Chinese cities. Millions of young Tibetans are taken from Tibetan areas and sent to those schools for 6 years and then on to university. So they're away from their community for 10 years. All their teachers are Chinese. It's really to make them forget about their Tibetan identity and their Tibetan culture. So, you know, when you hear about the experience of Indigenous people in Canada, do think that in Tibet, the same thing is going on and has been going on for decades. And I know that some of you may feel very self-conscious that you don't speak Tibetan. You may marry somebody who's not Tibetan. Learning Tibetan is important. It's something that you can do at any age, but even if you don't speak it, you matter as a Tibetan. If your heart is Tibetan, you belong to Tibet, to the Tibetan people. So thank you for coming, and please keep it coming, even though it's a very far drive. I think that if we all make an effort, we will be surprised with generations to come who will have born and raised here. They will come in even larger numbers. Thank you.
아니 디시고다 세세 제나트서와 가인스나 당한 주들이 도로도네 그 페니디자 망체가 하고요라 아니 가서 간지치들이 오베가 토방나게 냠르르 이해야 돼봐 얘는 다리 가서 아니 오토와 다 이게 그 도로도는 정말 안녕도 기교에 사는 가서 들이 쉬니가 네 가서는 랭기 쳐야 된딜 Ottawa donye de nga su lengi chera nga su ge ke che shimbe de thama ige yor ya kashi karna sungba na ya de shune chibu che de peme choba da ane do de chi goju lotu choba ane kanju chidele de men tere ya karna de na te mas ga marwa de sa di se se che ye de ma che de tangone ge nga su shenje chuchu lote tangaro so kanju chidele ge ne nime lote ge pu de chuchu de ma mo pesha ne Ninku Ribedani Tujicheda Garden Che, Ra. And Naruto Tenjo Yoni the Tama de Ane Penalo Shunike, Shili Jache Meme, Katab Jet Hogre, Tengorala, Jet Togo Yore, Ra. Tinanshi Naruto Negasana, Antoroto Sanegi, and Nasutano Shoga, Ane Basan or Modern Yoni, the Katab Che, Yumber, Jet Togo is some Che Yumber, Tara, and Sanen Digger. Antara Montreal Tamagan Masu Jigor Tamala Tuchi Kadichi Simsu Diki Chene Karina Kanamasu and Gasana Taptek Mola Masu Peba Tamijua Tapchuchu Metabo Seja Tinashi Masu and Gasan Munichi Membonunala Simsu Machabache Mantunigro Tende Marosone Lanama Uchichino Gosa Tangi Chimbuchog Soba Nanshika Matul Tende Gasana Nimaji Shagara Senega Kuranga Sosha Matu Ti Shirshanega Ane Yishido Kuti Chenega Masonica and Sishu Machabachi Mantone Rogo or Gay Cake or Maragerella Gay or Soba Nanshiga Ane 3D Penny de Jaga Tara Ane Gay Kina Pebra Tingo Sosogara That is at Tamala Tujichero Garden Chishu ye then this Chugula Maso the Ottawa
CDC
Sambela ne gasana college no chuperoche
talking about what collapse education I want to be practical the nail the mashakuna chishayo then to go to Shundula Pesha. And the gun and the channel to Pesha. Then to the Gosu. Manzu that the Kasashung that can get Chalanani, Manzu Lumbachro then, and soon royalty, and a big catchment. Which is the only which they in Navana, and this. And then I want to speak in English because we have also many friends, Canadian friends. As Digila said, I have lived in Ottawa almost since '81. And what has changed in our situation is that when I first came to Canada, we came here to demonstrate as outsiders. Today, we are citizens. Yes? We are coming to our parliament. When we ask our MPs for something, well, we are not begging them. We are advocating. I think Tibetans, we have to learn, how does this country work? How do the politics of this country work? We are seeing young Tibetans in different political parties. We have Diki Chala with the NDP. We have others coming up. We should support Tibetans across the spectrum, no matter what party they're in. Because I'll tell you who's trying to influence all this. Our friends in the CPC. Yeah? Look at that. They at the municipal level, at the level of MP, ministers, the United Front people, this is how they work. What of heavens, we know their work. Yes? We lost our country. It that thing also we have to tell our young people. It's not enough to say I'm against Communist Party China. We have to know how they function. The manner now you remember, I'm an old man now, but 30 years ago they said, if China joins the world economy, they will become democratic. So much of Tibetans, the experience we had, the lived experience, people discounted, Tirana is changing, Communist Party is changing. Now what do we have today? 30 years later, Xi Jinping is dictator for life. They have a huge economy, they have capacity, and they're authoritarian. They're not democratic. So one whole plank. Now it's resonating. We Tibetans, our experience is resonating. Uyghur experience is resonating. Dissident experience. So now we have to capitalize on that, I think. And instead of arguing with each other incessantly, we have to unite on a few things. So this way, and so practically, two things are happening. Government of this country, under pressure, is going to do consultations with communities affected by United Front work. Now, I work with a small group of the Canada Tibet community. We have been working for 33 years as volunteers to advocate. Now it's very critical. If you don't have data, you cannot affect policy. And data is not just saying my uncle said this and my cousin said that. Data is maybe appearing before a committee and saying X percentage of Tibetans have faced in Canada this kind of thing. So we will volunteer the Canada Tibet Committee to help gather this data, but you must cooperate and your associations must cooperate. We cannot cook this up. We cannot make jadoo and say, ye hua, nahi hua. So it's very, very important. That's critical thing is coming. We can have an influence, So that's very, very important, I think. And the other thing, now the Chinese Communist Party has locked up Tibet, like we say in Tibetan, like a raga machine, there's just iron grip. So we are not getting any news from Tibet. We're not getting movement from Tibet. People from Tibet are not able to even travel outside. So the next advocacy, in line with Umelam, is to ask for more access. You see, any Chinese citizen can apply for visa, come here and go anywhere in this country. They can buy property, yeah, and they do. They are even operating so-called police station in this country. Can you believe that? Yeah, it's unheard of. We, as Canadians now of Tibet now, we have no reciprocity. वो यहाँ आते हैं, हम वहाँ नहीं जा सकते हैं. क्यों? ना? So this way, not so practical change. 11 years do this. Slash that Shambaton no today share me. Na? We turn and go to Chetona, and we can get somewhere. Lawless and Shabby. Tell not to kind of look so now the young. And last thing I want to say is, you know, we're global Tibetans now. We're all over the world. We can also use that. But one thing I would like to say, let us always keep in mind also that a lot of our institutions and people in exile are in India. तो मेरे मन में ना जो भारत का जो रिश्ता है वो हमें रखना चाहिए, भूलो मत. हमारे दलाई लामा जी अपनी वहीं ठहरा हुए हैं. तो ये कभी-कभी लोग बाहर आके कुछ दूसरी नजर आ जाते हैं ना कि अच्छा मैं कैनेडियन हूं, मैं अमेरिकन हूं, ठीक है, हम तिब्बतन हैं, हम, मगर हमारे लोग ठहरे हुए कहाँ हैं और हमारे देश का तिब्बत का बॉर्डर कहाँ है? यूएस में नहीं है ना, कनाडा में नहीं है, यूरोप में नहीं है. अरे भाई साहब हिमालय में है, हिमालय की इस तरफ इंडिया है, उस तरफ तिब्बत है. That's why in India now, good thing, they are now calling it not China-India border. It is what it was, Indo-Tibet border. Words matter. It's very important. So when we talk, let us also use always that formulation. You know? So that's it. Lolus. And Canada Gallo. Jai Hind.
Free Tibet! Free Tibet! Free Tibet! China out of Tibet, no! China out of Tibet, no! China out of Tibet, no!
투시에 공원을 투시에 쉬어야. 아니 디슈고도 가서 세면인데 지켜내가. 근데 디슈고